You are listening to Making It, the path to beauty industry greatness with Beautista, where we go behind the scenes to explore the human side of beauty professionals, learn how they found balance in their lives, overcame obstacles, and created communities that transcend the ordinary. Hosted by Beautista co-founders Jen and Matt Martinelli alongside Beautista representatives, Making It is your guide to navigating the ever-evolving world of beauty.
Welcome to Making It, your backstage pass to beauty. I'm April, and we are joined by an incredible dynamic duo today, salon owner Tiffany Demers and salon director Tanna Montgomery at Adira Salon. Tiffany brings 17 years of beauty industry expertise, specializing in creating stunning transformations for her diverse clientele. Tanna, the salon director, has a remarkable background in leadership and organization, having grown the salon team from 3 to 21 stylists in just a few months. Together, they embody creativity, mentorship, fostering an inclusive environment where both stylists and clients thrive. Join us as we dive into their inspiring journey and unique vision behind Adira Salon. I am so excited to have both of you here. I think you are doing something incredible for the industry. And, you know, when I got to see a sneak peek of your salon and saw those disco balls, it is clear to me you are doing something quite magical over there. So I'm very excited to speak with both of you, but would love to kind of kick it off with, do you feel like you've made it? Now, I know there's two of you here, so this is quite the interesting question to start off with, but Tiffany or Tanna, do you feel like you've made it?
Made it. I would say it's been a journey, and we continue on that journey. Every day is like we have a mindset of we're better today than we were yesterday. And so I feel like if you have the mindset of that we've made it, that you are cutting yourself off from greater things. And so I don't know what that looks like, that we've made it. I think that we have a beautiful salon, and that means a lot of things. We've made it, and our space is amazing. And it's such a gift to work in just a beautiful spot. Like we have like the journey of like creating it and sitting on my kitchen table and making a rough sketch on the back of a scrap piece of paper and like dreaming up these mirrors that I like wanted but didn't exist, and being overwhelmed with like having a salon in my basement for 10 years, just me by myself, to like dreaming of something that's like bigger and not knowing like, how am I going to find stylists? Like, just so I've made it in creating a beautiful salon. Like that has been a long journey, and we're still improving on it. Yeah. And we have like big things happening all the time. Like we have acoustics because the noise is crazy going in, and we have like things that are help holding our shelves up, because I did floating shelves and the products are too heavy because our retail is exploding. And so that's my version of like, have we made it? That's yes, we are making it.
There you go.
Well, and what an incredible journey, because how many stories do you hear about these success stories that all start on either like a napkin or something like that? And it sounds to me like you went through that same journey. And oh my gosh, I feel like I want to see what these mirrors are that you.
Yes, April, you would love them.
Yes. So take me a little bit through this journey of opening your own salon, because this sounds like such a tremendous achievement that you've achieved so far.
Thank you. So I've been a hairdresser for 17 years. I like knew that this was what I was supposed to do. I'm an artist. I love to create beautiful hair, and I like aesthetic things. So making something, if you put something in front of me, like I just have my own artistic touch on it. Like I want to make it its best, right? So something beautiful that already exists, like how can I even enhance that? So I stayed at home for 10 years, or I had a salon in my basement for 10 years, raising my daughters. And I always knew that like once my daughters were old enough that I would eventually open a salon. And what I thought that meant, there was just different seasons of that in my life of like, I thought that it meant maybe having a little studio and having a little, coffee shop with it. Or there for a little while when my kids were really little, I was like, okay, I'm going to have half of a salon and half of a daycare. I was just like this kind of evolved and then the vision of what it would look like, and animal print was in for a while. So I would I'm a dreamer. Like I talk a lot about like ideas. And so I'm always talking in this like span of 17 years of being a hairdresser, like about the next thing. I still even talk about what the next thing is for Adara. And so, I just always talked about like, well, eventually when I have a salon outside of my house, and that always looked different depending on the season of my life that I was in, whether my kids were really little but I also was like, even in beauty school, I remember telling my clients in beauty school, I'm going to have babies. I'm going to have 5 of them, and I'm going to stay at home with my babies, and I'm going to have a little salon in my house. And it ended up happening. And it's kind of just like, I guess I just take it in stride. Like, okay, this is what I want right now. Is it achievable? And a lot of times what you want in that moment is not achievable at that time. But if you keep dreaming about what it is that you want, it all kind of unravels when it's supposed to. And so I would always talk about what it would be like once my kids were old enough to have a salon outside of my house. And then my basement salon, so 10 years of that, babies on my back. Like I only have 2 kids, and that's plenty. I didn't have 5. I'm really happy about that. God bless my 2. And also strapping them to my back and doing foils and blowouts and, putting them in the playpen and screaming at them while I'm working, like stop throwing a fit. Because that's just life. Right. And so having my salon in my basement, and then my kids getting a little bit older, and then dreaming, my dreams kind of changed, but still had the focus of like, eventually I will move my salon outside of my basement.
Yeah.
So 2020 happened. I had 9 weeks off of work, and I remodeled my salon in my basement. And it kind of gave me this like little passion of like, ooh, like I'm creating something new with what I have. And like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a little better with social media, and I'm going to fill my schedule because my kids, I don't have to track them to and from school. And I had more time to invest in my career. And so I started like just kind of leaning into like making the salon better. Like it had been like, years of my same salon in my basement, which was beautiful. But then I was like, okay, what can I do to make it better? And then, and so I took 2020 and I just was like, I'm going to focus on the business. I'm going to take this 9 weeks and I'm going to just like make it pretty again, make it exciting to be down there, and like lean into the social media. So I hired a social media manager, and I did all these things, and my salon started blowing up when salons opened again. And it was just me. And I'm like turning clients away. And then my kids went back to school, and I'm busier and busier and busier. And then I met somebody, and they were like, well, I want to get back into hair, but so I hired my first employee, and it was like for an assistant. And I had no idea what to do. And so I hired my first employee, and I was just like, and then I hired an accountant at the same time, because I was like, I need to figure out how to have an employee. But I had no idea what I was doing. And I feel kind of like I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm just using my resources. I'm like leaning into like the facts of hey, I'm not very good at the business side of things, like the accounting and the money and like, okay, well, now I have an accountant and a bookkeeper and a business coach. And so I'm really good at leaning into the things I'm not good at to like find that somewhere else.
I want to interject because Tiffany really, one thing I can say 100% about her is everything in her mindset is figure outable. I know that's not a real word, but I'm just telling you, figure outable. And I say that because there's nothing in her that I've ever seen her approach like, well, we can't do that, or I can't do that. It's like, all right, we can do hard things and we're going to figure it out. And it's like, you find the right people. And I think with that, there's two parts of her character that I would like to speak to. And one is humility, because you can't be a prideful, arrogant individual and know that, oh gosh, there's other people that are good at this and maybe I'm not. Like, she is willing to do that. And I just commend that. And I think that if every leader in any industry had some humility, they'd get further. I really believe that. And the second I want to say is determined and hard-headed. Right? Yeah. And that's a compliment. That's a compliment.
Yes.
Because you have to be like, you know what? This hurts. This sucks. This is really hard, but we're not going to give up. And that is a combination of determination and stubbornness. So there we go. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Well, right away, first of all, Tiffany, I feel like you have to be careful about what you say you want, because you'll make it happen. Which is, I mean,
careful.
That's true.
Yeah, your drive and ambition and your imagination to see things come through. I mean, I think it's so incredible. Oh my gosh, I want to be like, can we just spend more time together? You're just going to make things happen. I just feel like you have this energy about you that is so intoxicating, and not everybody has that. But I love that you recognize, and Tanna, you touch on it so perfectly. You recognize like your strengths in some areas you could have help, right? And so I feel like, obviously, I think this is where Tanna comes into play into your world. So I would love to hear more, because Tanna, just hearing that you helped Tiffany go from 3 employees to 21 in a few months. Okay, we need to hear about this. Tell us.
Tanna is like, she's our driving force, like, right? Like, she's the best gift to me as a business owner. Like, I always tell people, you can't have Tanna. She's not available. So, so she has spoken, she speaks things into fruition, right? Is that what the word is? Yeah. She's like, nope, by the end of summer, we are going to have, and she just says it. And she's like, it's going to happen. So her and I together are good. We are.
You are a powerful couple. Yes. I'm sure
we are a power couple.
Yes.
How did you do that?
I just think, having a partnership is the most blessed and challenging thing, because, we are in each other's lives. I mean, more than we are with our spouses or our family. Let's be honest. I mean, I'm going to be honest about that. And so with that, there's been growing pains. It's like learning who each other is. And we have both embraced the Enneagram, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but it really, it's a beautiful test, thing of learning about each other and who you are and how you approach relationships and how you approach life, and how when you're stressed, what you lean into. I mean, to be honest, we were just having a conversation before we got on here with you that is what I'm going to call a hard conversation. And the bottom line of that is you have to be willing to do that. You have to be willing to lean in to those places that are challenging. And I think about every good relationship, romantically or friendship or work. If you're going to grow together, you have to be vulnerable and authentic and be willing to talk about the hard stuff. Otherwise, you're just going to go so far. And that's really the truth. And, when I was invited to work and join Tiffany on the team, she knew me because I'm her mom's best friend, but we weren't close. Like, I always supported Tiffany and admired her, but more like, just because I admired her and I loved her, but we didn't hang out. You know what I mean? So when we started to work together, it's a whole new thing. You're just like learning who each other are and, just talking through some things and it's good and it's hard all at once. And I wouldn't change it for anything. Like, I would not. This has been the most incredible year and a half of my life. And, I'm 12 years older than Tiffany. So, it's a different, I have my own life experiences and at the tail end of raising 7 kids and just, we have life is just an amazing thing. And I feel it is so serendipitous working together. And I really feel like, I really just think that for some way, we just were meant to work together. It's just, I can't put it any other way. So when it comes to the vision and heart of people and integrity and the culture of Adara, like, we are just locked in and we just keep learning. We read and we listen to podcasts and we learn from our coach. And we just want to be learners constantly, better today than yesterday. And we just, in the places that weren't working, we were like, well, time to change this, time to modify, time to hone this in. And it's not comfortable. It has not just been comfortable, April. I want to be really honest there. There's been some people, coworker, people that worked for us that were in the beginning and we changed so much and our vision grew and people don't always grow with you and that's okay. And for that though, we had to really stick strong to our why because you can't modify your convictions and your beliefs to make that person over there feel comfortable. If you're going to be locked into something with a business or a relationship, a vision, you can't just blow around with the wind. And I think that's possibly what maybe some businesses do a lot. Maybe they don't really know their why. We all know what we're doing. We're, cutting hair and making people feel gorgeous and fantastic. That's pretty simple. I mean, if you're going to be honest, that's the simplicity of it. But the why behind it, that's the trickier part. And what I've learned and read is that most businesses do not know their why. And I think I've heard 20% only know their why. And we keep kind of coming back to that. And it takes a lot of effort. It really does. So
yeah. And so you can't just be in a space of like, well, people are going to come. I made this beautiful salon. So I guess, yeah, people are just going to come. No, we have employees and people that are committed to our why and our mission and our core values because we are intentional about what we're doing to bring in those people that believe in it with us. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we can't just be like, oh man, I wish I had stylists in my salon.
Right.
I have 10 stations and I only have 2 employees. No, you got to get after it. Like, get off your ass and like put some work into it. Like, find resources, like find recruiters, like canvas me, like we needed. Yeah, we had a need in our salon for some like higher level stylists. And we also have a constant need for associates. That is an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
It's not like you find an associate or you find a level, like a higher level stylist. And then you're like, finally, now we get to rest easy. No, we always have to have movement. There's always progress. And what does that look like? And that's going to look like different for everybody. Right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And, it's not, I think there's just been so much that I think our mindset is shifting. It's like when things aren't working or something feels, I'll use the word failure. It feels like a failure. I don't believe that it is a failure. I want to reframe that. I really believe that with everything that doesn't work or isn't going great, it gives you an opportunity to reflect and to shift and to pivot. We tend to be very honed in on certain words. Tiffany and I are, there's some real similarities about our personalities. Oh, I was going to say with Enneagram, I'm a 2 and she's a 3. And then my wing is a 3 and her wing is a 2.
Mm-hmm.
So we really cross, and it really, it's really an interesting balance. And I think it helps us a lot. And I'm really grateful for that. But when I talk about some of the things like pivoting and just like, what's some of the other things? Yeah, better today than yesterday. We're always thinking about that. Yes. You know, it's just like we're learning, we're growing.
Clear is kind, and the Adara way. And we really intentionally structure the business. Like Tanna, she takes care of the team. Like we are intentional about like our monthly coaching with each of our employees. We don't just hire people and say good luck. We are invested in them. We take pride in that we are a career salon. We are always trying to like create more of that like stability for our team, and also just like always like, how can we communicate better with you? Like if you have an issue, like this is not a place that we're not going to welcome toxicity. And what does that mean? And we just we unpack it, and the consistency piece is huge. Like my team knows, like anytime I'm going to talk to them or coach them, I'm going to say, you have to be consistent. Nothing is immediate. Right? Like if you begin a new software and you expect there to be results immediately, you're mistaken, and you're going to leave with disappointment. But if you're consistent with it and you actually give it like that intentional, if you're consistent, you're going to see results.
Of course. And I love that you have this foundation and mindset. And it sounds like to me, this is one of the things that you're setting a new standard in the industry for when you are bringing on new team members. I mean, you obviously have gone from 3 to 21 in a short amount of time. And that must have come with a lot of, highs and lows and learning moments of just like, okay, what are we doing and how to, truly onboard them in the correct way that you feel that is a good, smooth transition into a new environment. Because obviously growing rapidly with more personalities, tell me some of your successes that you feel with some of your onboarding steps as you've learned.
So something that we started to learn quickly when we started hiring together was I love the dynamic, eager, joyful person that Tiffany is. And with that, she just wanted to hire every little person that came along.
I did.
She was just like, oh my God, I love you. Let's hire you now.
I just loved everybody. I could see I was like, oh yeah, I can make you into a great stylist.
Yeah. I remember being like, okay, wow, this is going quick. This is quick. And I love people too, just to be clear. I do.
Yeah.
And, but it was really cute because her over the top eagerness. And I remember when we first started doing the interviews, I was like, maybe we should slow down a minute and not. And so we started to implement some, it's kind of some strategies that we would choose to follow, some parameters of our hiring process. And I kind of laugh because our interviews are at 8 a.m. And I'm like, well, if that doesn't work for this person, they're not meant for us either. It's like, that's what we have. It's just like we only have, because we're so darn busy, and Tiffany is just running at 9 a.m. with clients, and we're just busy. So we can only do 8 a.m. interviews.
That's it.
So
that's how we show up.
So that's great. So after
it's a great test, right? Because it's just like, hey, if they don't, if they're not going to make the effort to come in at 8 a.m.
These kids need to get out of bed. I mean, and put some clothes on. God damn. I mean,
get out of your pajamas.
Brush your hair. Okay.
So we're funny. So I know some of our things people might be like, wow, hard asses. It's like, yeah, we kind of are.
We had an interview recently, and they were what, 10 minutes late.
Yeah.
And the first thing that I was really proud of Tanna, because she goes, oh, we were expecting you at 8 today. And the girl goes, oh, I kind of like got lost a little bit. I'm like, really? You got lost? this is not a hard place to, I mean, I didn't say that, but like,
you're thinking it in your brain.
We're just real humans here. We are two adult women, just like doing the best we can. And like, also, yeah. So anyways, yeah. So we have
so after our interview, so we came up with a simple 5-point questionnaire that I'll email to each applicant afterwards. And it really has to do with how they would handle a situation of discontent in the salon, how, you know, like, any kind of change.
Or like, what are some ways that you feel like you can grow right now? Like what are concerns that you might have with some of your weaknesses? Or anyways, there's 5 questions. They're very intentional. And we ask that they answer these 5. They take the time to answer those 5 questions.
So that's over email. Mm-hmm. They submit that to us. But even at that point, we've had a couple of people email back and say, you know, this was just a little more intense than I thought. Mm-hmm. And thank you for giving me the chance. So again, it's that aspect of, we really learned early on that hiring people just for the sake of hiring them, we would have some dissatisfaction, you know, 4-6 weeks into their employment. And that's money. That's money. Onboarding people costs money because we're paying them an hourly wage to learn our systems, et cetera. And it wasn't beneficial for either party. It takes Tiffany's training of people is intense, and that's really draining. And we just can't spend the time on all of that.
And we like that about each other, right? Like, I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Like, and we're very receptive to each other's, like, because it's a heart of like love and goodness. And
I am so, sometimes I think I'm Tiffany's biggest fan. Well, besides her mom. Her mom is definitely number one. But Tiffany is such a gift, and her vision for amazing things and just, I love it. And so, she'll see angles that I didn't think of, and she helps me be a better person and grow personally and professionally. And I'm so grateful. Like, and it's funny because, you know, I guess one thing I want to say is, you know, I'm 51 and, you know, I want to show people, when I took this job, part of the thing in the back of my mind was I wanted to show my kids. And really, I wanted to model to them that change at any time in life is okay, and even better than okay. It's welcome. Mm-hmm. And I was feeling flat with where I was. Tiffany knows this about my story. And I knew there was something more. I knew I had more to give and offer. I'm a very passionate, driven, hardworking person. And I knew that I wasn't being utilized to my capabilities. And so being put in this role, first of all, I felt so inadequate. Oh God. I felt so scared, so inadequate. And I really do mean that. And yet it's just been something I kept digging in, and my husband believed in me and Tiffany believed in me. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll just keep showing up.
You can have 7 kids
and not keep showing up
and not find structure. I was like, this woman knows how to structure this business and I need her help.
But it's been the best thing I've ever done for me. You know, as a woman, we can do a lot for other people. We can raise babies. We can be a supportive spouse. We can, I don't know, do lots of things because that's what women do. We show up for everything. Let's be honest. But this is the first thing I've ever done for me. And it's been the most challenging and the most rewarding thing ever. And I really mean that.
And now she's raising all these employees. Yeah. And
that part feels true sometimes.
It's like another 20 kids.
Yeah, so. We talk about it. We're like, oh God, sometimes we just feel like, that's just the way of it, right? Yeah. You know?
Oh my goodness, this is so true. Yes. Well, Tanna or Tiffany, what would you share as some good tips or some advice you would share to any of our listeners that are either starting to open their own salon or they're currently managing?
I was just recently in a in a group with other salon owners that I've been invited to. And so I represent us, when I go. And one thing that all these salon owners are kind of commiserating about is hiring and like not finding people, like either people not even being interested, or B, just like the quality of people that are displaying interest. And one thing that I kind of spoke to, lovingly, but just like making sure that the salon owners know what they want. Like, again, I guess that does go back to the why, but really not like knowing your ideal, like we think of our ideal client, we need to also know our ideal employee, and we need to speak to that. And we need to, like Tiffany is wise. She's invested in a social media director. And I know that some people think, oh, good for you. You can afford that. Well, no, she's made it happen. It was a sacrifice, but guess what? That sacrifice is paying off. And so even in this, this high, social media world and just everything being out there and techie, we have to speak to that. We need to be out there. And so with that though, it's really helped us to showcase our culture and to speak to teamwork and to education, and to a career-based salon. So with that, we have seen a difference in the people we're attracting. I'm going to be honest. We're noticing. And so our recent hirees, like our last 5 hirees, all came from out of town or out of state. And they are, individuals who have put years into their career and are thrilled about structure and education and teamwork. And I'm not joking. And I don't think that's accidental. So I speak to that because I really believe I would love to encourage salon owners, think about your ideal employee and speak to that. Like, don't be bashful about it. Don't be like, well, maybe. No, really know it, believe it, speak to it, and you will attract those people. Whatever that is for you. That's not going to be the same for us, but whatever is your thing. So I would love to encourage owners to really be manifesting that, to be honest. I really would.
It's beautiful. Yeah. It's beautiful to have dreams, but if you have no action with your dreams, then your dream is stuck. So yeah.
Yes, that, we do morning powwows with our team. We call them powwows. Just like we tried to figure out, because of course we have our monthly meeting, but oh my gosh, a lot happens. And once a month is just not enough to get our information out there, and to like share where we're, like if something needs tweaked or what we're modifying or to be supportive. And I was just thinking about, some of the quotes or some of the things that we're drawing our wisdom from. It really does talk about like what Tiffany just said. You have to have action, attainable goals. You have to have step-by-step applications to that, or it's just throwing something out in the wind. It's just like a wish.
I really wish I was rich.
I mean, okay, what are we doing?
Me too. Like, I really wish I had 20 stylists. Like, oh, what are you doing about that? Like, take some action. Hold yourself accountable to some goals. Like, surround yourself with people that make you want to be better, and follow through. Be consistent.
Yes, this is so true, and such great tips and advice that you're sharing. Well, Tanna and Tiffany, what do you feel is your purpose?
Ooh, I mean, my purpose in the industry, or my purpose in my salon, or my purpose in life as a mother? That's a big, broad question right there. Yeah. What's okay.
My personal purpose, and I really feel strongly about this, is for me, it's love. And I say that, I know that can sound really cliche, but I feel I came out of a space in my life that was under constructs that were very black and white. And that didn't really serve me well. It lended me actually to feel very alone and unloved, ironically. having a black and white construct of others, and I saw judgment in my heart, and I didn't feel comfortable with that. And also I was a harsh judge to myself, therefore. But coming out of that place in my life about 12 years ago, I really started to define something differently. And I felt really passionate about, there's a phrase, I don't even know how I started saying it, but I started to say only love and choose kindness. And I started to say it to my kids a lot. And it became my departure when they would go to school, because they started to go to school about public school, my youngest kids, about 9 years ago. And I would say, only love, choose kindness. And I got a tattoo. So I have that on my forearm that says only love on my left hand, I'm left-handed. And for me, it was like, how can I serve others? And I'm left-handed. I'm like, okay, I want to serve with love. And so I always go back to that of like, well, am I being loving with how I'm treating people, with the people that I am blessed to work with and the clients, and, how am I serving Tiffany? How can I do that better? That for me feels like my purpose. And with that, that's, of course, there's a lot of underlying things, but I know me enough, and I'm very self-aware. I know when I'm being snippy. I know when I'm being judgmental, and I don't want to be that way. I'm going to be honest. I do not feel comfortable with that. It does not serve me well, and it doesn't serve others well. So I'll even notice it if somebody is being unkind as a client and on the phone, or there's something snippy. I can feel initially I want to be really like, harsh and set them in their place. And I'm like, okay, take a breath, listen, stop, listen. How can I be humble here? How can I serve this person? And I keep going back to that, and I'm very flawed, but just want to be better today than yesterday. And so that for me is my purpose. That's how I would summarize it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is beautiful. It really lives that way. It's a gift to everybody in her life. Yeah. Yeah. I think like the first thing that comes to mind of my purpose is to show up in the best way I know how every day. Like to not just stay the same. And to put all my efforts into that, of being better for my family and for my friends and for my team and my community. And if I am putting my best self forward, then I think that only good is going to come from that. And that means learning from the things that don't go well and celebrating the things that are going well. So I think that that's like, and I like love to empower women. I'm passionate about that. And I do believe that is a large piece of my mission or my purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Tanna and Tiffany, thank you so much for doing this with us. We greatly appreciate you, and you both are such just wonderful humans, and we absolutely love what you're doing over at Adira Salon, and just cannot thank you enough for doing this and sharing your story.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Making It, the path to beauty industry greatness with Beautista. Our mission is to give you a voice, help you find your place of belonging, and empower you to thrive in this beautiful industry. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insights that will fuel your own journey in your career. Head over to Beautista.com and unlock the next chapter of your beauty journey. Create your portfolio, showcase your unique talents, and connect with a community that understands and celebrates your story. Subscribe to Making It for more inspiring stories, and let's continue making it together.